Swimming is probably one of the most popular ways to spend time on the East Coast, and people around here sure like to make the activity an interesting one. And with snorkeling, surfing, boogie boarding, or just plain going for a dip, water safety is always important to talk about. There's a new swimming fad that has some people raising safety concerns: an artificial tail. The tails have been banned at several pools across the country, but one professional mermaid says that's not necessarily the solution. Stephanie Brown of Halifax Mermaids joins us this morning to talk about mermaid tails and monofins. She's also known as Raina Mermaid. Good morning. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you so much for having me.
And you have been a professional mermaid for quite some time now, around 7 years, and you're also a teacher, so you know how to teach kids. When we talk about monofins and tails, what are we talking about here? You've brought some examples.
I did. So a monofin is what's inside of my professional tail. When you see what I'm swimming in, it's inside, you just don't see it.
Okay.
But monofins are used by Olympians to train the dolphin kick, which is the kick where both your feet are together.
Right.
And it's also used by freedivers who need to go down on a single breath of air and come back up. And it's used because it utilizes less oxygen and helps you get faster on less air.
Get further on needing less oxygen. So it's kind of like, I mean, this isn't exactly what you have, but this is like something adults can buy that's kind of like a tail thing.
Yeah. So some monofins come in different sizes, different makes, different budgets. So this is a little more on the lower end of a budget. These are the most popular ones that are on the market right now, and this is an adult size, but they come in children's sizes. They're by a company called Fenice, and so this one's really basic. All it is a piece of neoprene over a certain type of plastic, and it's got these sort of
That's
sock
where you put your
holes.
feet, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And then there's these versions for kids that are becoming more and more popular, and these are kind of the things that people are concerned about. So let's talk about these.
Yeah, so this is by a company called Fenice, and they're quite popular. They're known for making lots of diving and swimming equipment and doing a lot of training with Olympians as well, people like that. Michael Phelps has actually worn an adult version of this.
Oh, really?
Which is really cool. Merman tail and all.
Merman tail, okay.
Yeah, so the concerns that people have are quite valid. You know, children's feet are put together. They're not able to use a bipedal kick when they're swimming. And you know, there is a bit of miscommunication out there about how they work, and I just want to show you a little bit. If your kids are wanting to buy one of these, or you've bought one, they're on the internet. This particular brand you can get at Chapters, and kids are loving them. But you know, there are some inherent risks. So I just want to show that. So we've got safety information on the bottom of every monofin. It usually tells you to a website or the safety code, and this particular one says, you know, do not swim alone and adult supervision, and that's a really big thing. You always should be supervising your children when they swim, but especially if they're in a monofin. I mean, I'm a professional. I've been doing this forever. I still never swim without supervision, ever, with a mermaid tail, because anything could happen. And even though I've never had an incident, you just want to be prepared. So you need to be watching your children. Both of their feet go inside this little pocket, and we have this nice strap that comes around and just sort of hooks in the side. And what a lot of people don't realize when they buy these tails for their children is that they have emergency release buttons or emergency release protocols.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so before your child is even in the water, you should be learning how that protocol works. And teaching them.
Right, so on this one, it's like a Velcro thing. So
yeah, it's just a little strap, it
undo
pulls
the Velcro
and comes apart.
This one's slightly different. It has a little strap like this. How does this work?
Yeah, this one's actually my favorite. It's my monofin of choice, and one of the reasons is that this was designed by Body Glove, a very well-known diving group, and a mermaid.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, Mermaid Linden from LA. She's also a very accomplished freediver. So if anyone understands how these work, it's her.
It would be her.
I really like this one because it has grips on the bottom, so that if the child needs to stand, they're not going to slip around. It's got nice foam inserts to make sure their feet are comfortable and to make sure you have a nice fit. And it's got this emergency release hook that can just, child grabs it, pulls off. And that's not the only thing. It's got hooks on the side, and it's also got little tabs on the bottom.
Okay, so you can pull
There's
it off and
multiple
free your
ways to
feet.
just pull it off and free your feet.
And that's something you should probably practice, like you said, before you even get in the water.
Yeah, children should be practicing. And a lot of these monofins you can buy individually, but the FinFun ones, which I see are the most popular on the market for children, they come with a tail, a fabric tail.
Oh, right, to cover it so it looks more like a mermaid. Okay.
So the fabric tail would go over like this, and it's open in the bottom so that children can access the monofin to pull it out if they need it. But again, you should be doing this in stages with your child. So first thing, they should be able to get it off very quickly in an emergency, and they should be demonstrating that to you. Next, they should be swimming in the monofin, and before you've even attempted to put the mermaid tail on, they should have that down, you know, being able to float, roll around.
Right, so these are all things
crawl.
they should be able to do anyway before you even consider anything like
you
this.
know,
They need swimming skills.
They need to tread water. You know, there's this viral video of a little girl who tries to do a flip in one of the tails, and I don't know about you, but even when I try to do a flip, I tend to not always do them very well, and I come up a little higher. And yeah, and this, you know, this little girl got stuck doing her flip and couldn't get straight. And when I reached out to the mom to be like, oh, you know, I saw this video, it looks really upsetting, you know, what happened? It turned out her child had never used one before, ever, and the first thing she did was a flip.
Was try a flip. Okay, so you've got to start more slowly than that. You're not going to automatically be able to do all the things that you see on TV or whatnot.
And there's no shame in wearing a life jacket or water wings. So my very first time ever using a mermaid tail, I wrote about it in my book, I actually put on a life jacket.
Well, there you go. But that's smart, right? That's smart because it's about safety. So this is good to know, especially if people around here are starting to learn more about these, more kids wanting them, and then of course having a lot of safety questions. So you've answered a lot of them here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. I just want kids to be safe, and there's a lot of great reasons why you should swim with a mermaid tail. It burns a lot of calories, promotes physical fitness, empowers girls, but you have to do it safely.
Yeah, that's the whole idea. Thank you so much
again
for coming in. We have more CTV Morning Live coming up in just a few minutes. Stay with us. 8:51 is your time.
Darling, it's better down where it's wetter. Take it from me. Up on the shore, they work all day. Out in the sun, they slay